In Excel 2013, Microsoft released a feature that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. It's called Flash Fill, and it really fills in a lot of the blanks that Microsoft's autofill feature left open. Let me show you how it works. Basically, the premise here is that if you were going to use brute force to solve a problem, Flash Fill can step in and help out. So for example here, let's say that I wanted to type in Kayla O price. Now, some people know that there are ways of getting Kayla O price into cell D2 that don't involve me typing this out by hand. But for those of you who don't, this is a problem. What we do now is on the Home tab at the top of the screen, there is a drop-down menu over here on the right-hand side, and on that drop-down menu is something called Flash Fill. You'll notice that Control-E is the keyboard shortcut for this. You choose Flash Fill, and just like that, Excel recognizes first name, middle initial, last name for every single one of these entries and fills it in. It can also break text apart. So, of course, one of the big problems people face is when people put addresses into a single cell, and we want to break that out into city, state, and zip. So if I just type out Fargo, North Dakota, and 58102, now what we can do is we can tell Excel to flash fill the rest of it. We click on the cell that we filled in Fargo with, click the drop-down menu here, and choose Flash Fill. Now again, notice here the keyboard shortcut is Control-E. I'm going to use that next. So I'll click on Flash Fill, and it fills in the remainder of the cities, including cities like New Orleans and Rio Rancho, which are 2 words. Then let's go to North Dakota here, and again, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Control-E to fill in the rest of the states, and go to cell E2, and Control-E will fill in the rest of the zip codes. If I go over here to my next tab, this email generator, let's say that everybody's email addresses are their first initial, their middle initial, and their last name at whatever the email address happens to be. So you can see that we're telling Excel, take the first letter of Kayla, take the O from the middle initial column, and then take price from the third column, and stack those together and tack on @craftsoft.xyz at the end. So now again, I use Control-E on the keyboard, and it flash fills the rest of them. Now notice here that it didn't do a very good job. Kendall Lemby right here did not successfully work. So sometimes you have to do this. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the rest of these people, remove them, and here's all we have to do. We have to get to a point where Excel recognizes that there's a difference, and it's right here at Kendall Lemby. Now, at this point, because there's a KO Price, an RO Adams, and a KA Lemby, if I use Control-E on my keyboard, Excel will recognize middle initial and first initial here and put those two things together. Now, this next one is really cool. Let's go over to the Reformatting tab. So here I have an office phone number with dashes in it. And what if I wanted to take that office phone number and put in parentheses the area code, and then put the rest of the phone number? Now at this point you can recognize that I've taken the exact same numbers, but I've put them into a different arrangement with different punctuation. Again, I use the keyboard shortcut Control-E on my keyboard, and Excel recognizes what I'm trying to do as far as reformatting is concerned and processes it for me.